as the crowds grew, the demands for justice grew louder. And when you were here, I bet you could feel a kind of spirit moving through these crowds, the spirit that took us out of our own little worlds and connected us to something bigger. Could you feel a spirit of community? Yes! Could you feel a spirit of justice? Yes! Now, for those of us in faith traditions, there maybe was a little bit of God in those spirits. Amen. Amen. Now let me ask you something else. Remember the many groups that came together here seeking justice? Yes. The firefighters and the farmers. Yes. The teachers and the prison guards. Yes. The police officers and the students. Yes. The retirees and the nurses. Yes. The list goes on and on. In the midst of all those groups at each of the rallies last year were people from the many different faith traditions that make up the spiritual quilt of Wisconsin. Many of us carried this sign, a sign that says, all religions believe in justice. It's a theme that runs through the Hebrew scriptures, and it's a theme that runs through the words of Jesus. It's part of the core Muslim pillar of sharing wealth. It's within the Buddhist concept of compassion. Now, for those of us like me who are in the Christian tradition, this is a season we call Lent, 40 days devoted to thinking about how we can better live out what we believe before we celebrate the hope that comes with Easter. And for some people, that's a time of fasting and of giving things up. But it's also a time to remember the words of the Hebrew prophet Isaiah, the very prophet Jesus quoted when he defined his mission in bringing good news to the poor, release to the captives, sight to the blind, freedom to the oppressed. So listen to these words of Isaiah. He's channeling God in this passage. This is the kind of day of fast I'm after, to break the chains of injustice. Yeah! To get rid of exploitation in the workplace. Yeah! To free the oppressed, to cancel debts. Yeah! If you get rid of unfair practices, if you quit blaming the victims, if you quit gossiping about other people's sins, if you are generous with the hungry, if you start giving yourselves to the down and out, then your lives will begin to glow in the darkness. You'll be known as those who can fix anything, restore old ruins, renovate and rebuild, make the community livable again. Those are the words of Isaiah. Now, we've been through a very tough 12 months in Wisconsin, a year when the rights of workers have been diminished, when the rights of voters have been restricted, the needs of the poor have been trampled. We've been through a year of blaming victims and a lack of generosity of spirit or of money. We've seen the fabric of our Wisconsin community frayed around the edges. So if you're inclined, would you join your voices with me in this prayer of call and response? Could you answer with this line, let the light of justice glow in the darkness. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. Divine Spirit, we call you by many names, but we join together in seeking your presence among us this evening. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. We gather here holding in our hearts those who have suffered so much during the past year, those whose incomes were diminished, whose jobs were eliminated, whose future is more uncertain. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. We gather here holding in our hearts those who have felt the sting of animosity from elected leaders, from amplified voices, from fellow citizens. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. We gather here holding in our hearts the pain of friendships shattered, families divided, close bonds broken in the midst of the turmoil of the past year. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. And we gather here holding in our hearts hope for a better future, a place where everyone's labor will be honored and rewarded, where everyone's place as a citizen will be respected and protected, where no one will lack a place to sleep or a meal to eat or the medical care they need. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. Give us the wisdom and the courage to restore what has been ruined, to rebuild and to renovate our democracy, to make our community livable again. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. Say it again. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. Say it again. Let the light of justice glow in the darkness. May it be so.